Ryan, last chance here, San Diego State, BYU. How special would it be to close out this rivalry with a win?
You know, it's from a player's perspective, we're not really looking at that. I know it's for the alumni and for fans, for everybody else, it's a real big deal. But really for us, it's overshadowed by it's our first conference game. We're going to Provo, and you know, there's a lot of big things involved besides that, and we're really just looking at what we have to do this week to prepare for the game.
Ryan, Coach Mendenhall and Brady Hoke have a long history, and Rocky Long and Bronco have a long history. You scout and you scrimmage against your defense. When you watch film, how much of their influence, Brady's and Rocky's influence, do you see on BYU's defense?
You know, it's a three-man front, and there's similarities there, and you can tell that he's an aggressive defensive coach, and they play very good on defense. They're solid, they play physical, and they have a lot of the characteristic traits you can tell in coaching their players that Coach Hope and Coach Long have also.
Do you treat this any differently now that he's going to be their defensive coordinator, and that you have a head coach who's calling the plays as opposed to their other guy who expired?
You know, I think as the head coach, you know, he's probably even before the firing of their D coordinator, you know, he probably had a hand in what they were doing also. But I think, you know, there's going to be some things they do differently, and we'll look back on some of the stuff they used to do, and when he was more involved in the play calling, and you know. But I think in mid-season you aren't going to expect too much different, so we'll prepare for what we see and dial up what we gotta do with Coach Burris.
Miles, you've seen a little bit of BYU, or even a lot of bit of BYU. How do they differ this year than, let's say, last year when they had like Max Hall and Dennis Pitt?
I mean, they're running a lot of the same stuff. Again, they're going to be running the ball a lot, and they rely a lot on their running backs to carry the load and catch the ball out of the backfield a lot too. But yeah, I mean, they don't have the same tight ends that can go down the field and get up on everybody. But again, it just comes down to preparing and watching film and getting the nuances of their scheme.
They've lost 4 in a row. As a player, when you see that they're 1-4, they lost 4 in a row, they're obviously struggling. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, they're struggling right now, but they're a football team that has a lot of tradition and a lot of pride in who they are. BYU, they always have, and they're going to be coming out and gunning for this one. And you can't take it lightly. Anything can happen in college football. You can't play the game of, well, they beat them, so we'll beat them. It never works that way.
DJ, how dangerous is a team like BYU? Like you said, they've lost 4 straight. They're struggling. They're trying to find themselves. They're trying to patch holes. How scary is it, especially at home?
It could be very dangerous at times, you know, because as Coach Hoke always says, they're a wounded bear. You know what I mean? They'll be ready to come in that game, ready to attack us and do whatever it takes to get a victory. So it'll definitely be a dangerous game.
Ryan, how did you feel the bye week was used? Do you feel like you guys got a little bit more rest as opposed to last year? It felt like you were at a time where you really needed to go back to the basics. Did you feel further advanced this year in the bye?
Yeah, you know, I think we did some different things where we got off our feet a little bit, and towards the end of the week we kind of turned it up. You know, I thought it was productive. We did a good job of being focused in practice and kind of getting a jump on our game plan this week, and we'll just hit the ground running come today in practice.
Ryan, when you look at their defense, where's its strength? Where's that baby built?
You know, they got some experience in the secondary. You know, a lot of guys they lost last year on their fronts, but at the same time they got some good players coming back and still a lot of talent. They always got some big physical guys that can run around, and you know, all around they're a solid team, especially in the secondary. I think with their experience with Rich, you know, in center field, and the 2 guys they got on the corners, they both have a lot of playing time.
Miles, I think back to the BYU game last year when you guys lost by 10, and first thought people were like, oh wow, you guys put up a good fight, and then Coach Ho comes down, the first thing he says is, we were terrible, you know, no moral victories, that sort of thing. Was that sort of a turning point for you guys to realize what's needed to take the next step for your program?
I think a little bit, but I mean, we go into every game with the mindset that we need to win that game, and we believe that we're going to win that game. So losing is just coming short of that.
BJ, how much have you seen of BYU in this bye week?
We've seen a lot of film. Going back to last week, we started watching film early. Had a lot of guys come in on off days or whatever, and take a lot of look at the defensive schemes and what they run on different downs.
What do you think about their secondary, Vincent?
like Ryan said, they do have a lot of talent and a lot of experience back there. They got a lot of quick guys, and their backers are ones who they like to cover slot guys. They can run around, and they're big physical guys. So they got a lot of experience and talent back there.
Miles, what challenges does the BYU offensive scheme present in terms of tempo, speeding things up, trying to go no huddle, maybe get you guys out of substitution packages, that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, they go fast. I watched the game versus Utah State, and they were moving pretty quick. But it's nothing that we haven't seen before. We've played a lot of quick tempo teams, and I think we'll be ready for it.
How about going against a freshman quarterback? Is there some advantages to that?
I think so. I mean, we just have to go out there like every other game and just put pressure on them and be aggressive and physical and play as hard as we can. The kid's got a gun though, and he can really sling the ball around. But we just gotta get pressure on him and get in his head a little bit.
Ryan, I think I might have asked you this last week, but I'll ask it again now. It's a week later. Do you feel the bye week came at a good time or a bad time because you guys did have a lot of momentum after that Utah State game? Do you feel like the bye week maybe slowed that, and are you going to be able to sort of pick it up?
You know, I think with where we're at as a team, maturity-wise, and the leadership we have, I don't think it's a problem of slowing down momentum. I think if anything, we'll carry it over. And you know, we allowed some guys to get off their legs a little bit, get their legs back, and we should be coming out fresh with the way we practiced last week and coming into this week with our big conference game.
Right, compared to the last time that you were in Provo, only 2 times ever that San Diego State has won in Provo, Utah. What makes it such a challenging road environment? What do they try and do to upset the quarterback? Because obviously a lot of what the crowd's trying to do is to upset the quarterback and his rhythm. And what do you think is different from freshman to junior year going there?
You know, I think it's a completely different team. But talking about Provo, it's a great environment. You know, it's a college town, and they love the BYU and they love their football team. So you know, they get a lot of support, and it's a big stadium, and they just like to turn the noise up. So I think that's the biggest thing when you go anywhere that the crowd likes to do is just try and get loud and disrupt an offense or defense communication-wise.
From the fans' point of view, Ryan, why do you think there's such a disdain for BYU? Why does everybody love to hate them?
You know, I don't know. You guys could ask that about anybody from the Yankees to the Cowboys, whatever you want to say. But I think it's you know, they have their own intrinsic things that they come, and that comes through the LDS Church and other things that are involved with that. But I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I think they're a good program with great tradition, and I guess some people envy that sometimes.
He talks about the tradition that you guys want to establish here at San Diego State. At BYU, the tradition is established, and here it is, the last opportunity to play this program. VJ, for you, how much could this be a passing of the torch? You know what I'm saying? You guys are trying to get to where they are as a program, but defeating them in there has to be a great step in that direction, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, we just want to go out and get a victory. You know, whatever they're doing, you know, their tradition and all that stuff. That's something that, of course, we like to have here, and that's something that we're building upon. But wherever we go, you know, we're always looking for that victory.